In the top left-hand corner, you can see new and open in red lettering. That's to create a new test or drill. And open lets you open an existing drill in which you can edit and save. The save button's on the right-hand side next to the gear icon, which gives you options for your tests. On the right-hand side, we see timing gates. We've got a dual beam timing gate, a single beam timing gate. They'd be set on tripods. We've got a ground gate, which is a single beam gate with special ground mounting hardware. And we've got a plastic cone, which is just used to depict the state of the test for the coach. So to create the simplest test would be to drag a gate out and then drag a second gate out. We tap draw path, we draw a line. That's a simple test. We finish it, we can adjust the distance, we can pinch, we can move this out further, double tap, rescales the screen to where you need it to be. You can also move this in angles if you needed to, pointless in a straight sprint, but useful in some other drills. If you're going to do a simple, say 5-10-5 or pro agility test, we'll just go new up here. We'll have one gate in the center, drag a couple of cones out, draw the path, finish. You put your finger opposite to the upper side of this little yellow cone, we can spin it around. Just like with the gate, if you grab that horizontal bar, put your finger on that, you can spin that around. Once we have that test finished, we would just go save, and we give it a name. We might call it PA for Pro Agility. That test is now saved. Let's go back to a different test. New. Let's assume we want to do a 3-point start, starting with a foot or hand on the ground. I've got the wrong gate. Drag it at the top and drop it in the remove basket. That's the gate I want, ground gate. And a finish gate. We draw the path. Distance is irrelevant for the purposes of demonstrating this. What's important here is most likely you'll want to use what we call a steady start or a 2-stage start. Steady start sets up an environment in the test where when the coach arms the test, both of these gates will have flashing red lights. That tells the athlete that the system is ready to go. When they put their hand on their foot down, blocking the beam on this start gate, the green one, the lights will be flashing yellow. 2 seconds later, they'll go green. At that point, the athlete can start whenever they want, whenever they're comfortable. And when they lift the hand or their foot, the timer will start. And their finish time is attained when they go through the finish gate. We have another nice option here where you can say, well, I'm interested in the reaction time of the athlete when they sprint. So this will be red. The athlete will put their foot down. It will go yellow. That signals to the athlete that their foot is in the right place or their hand's in the right place for the start. And then some random period between 2 and 2.5 seconds, the lights will go green. Now, once that happens, when the athlete lifts the hand or foot, we actually record the amount of time it took them to actually make that movement. And then we record their normal split times as they sprint out through the finish gate. We've got another couple of start modes here. 2-stage, which is identical to the steady start, except the coach is in control of when the light goes green, manually, via the run test page. Move is something we won't discuss right here at the moment. I'll create a new test. Let's say you're doing some phosphate decrement tests and you wanted to do a repeat sprint test. We just drag the gates out like that. Draw the path, set the distance once you finish this test. But the critical part is repeat sprint. Select that. Tell it how many sprints you want to do, 8. You might do them off a 1-minute rest period. And you want to begin that at the finish, so they'll sprint, then they'll rest for a minute, and they'll sprint again. We can have them start at one end or both ends just by selecting one or both. Quite simple, and the units are selected at the bottom. So we'll say done. And we'll save that test, give it a name. That might be repeat sprint number 1. Save. And that test is finished. If you wanted to do a change of direction drill, you would have a start gate, another gate that is the trigger for the change of direction. I'll draw one path, I'll draw a second path. And so this would randomly assigns either left or right in this drill. Now you can get as silly as you want with this thing, you could do that. That'd be one random test. And the other one might be like this. So it's up to you what you decide to do in this random agility type testing. A cone is often a useful device in a test. We might be dribbling a soccer ball. And we're going to dribble around these cones and then go back. The cones don't record anything, but the cones do let the system know what distance the athlete is going to be dribbling the ball through. Therefore, we can give velocity data based on where the coach has positioned these cones, assuming he's going to replicate that when he sets up the test to run the drill. One small thing to notice here, because times can be different between dual and single beam gates, you'll note that we can start a test with a single beam gate and we can add a dual beam gate in. But note the single beam gate in the right hand menu is now gone slightly dull, it's grayed, so we cannot pull that onto the page anymore. That's because we don't want to mix results between single and dual beam gates. We can, however, do that if the device is on the ground. So back to our 5-10-5 test, we could put a couple of gates on the ground. That's different because they're not prone to be double triggered by trailing arms or legs. So we could just draw our test like that. That would be a 5-10-5 test with a ground-based gate on each of the 5 metre extents, measuring when the foot slides across the line. Ideally, that test would be set up in a steady start as well.